Hi everyone, welcome to Auntie Tarot. So yesterday I uploaded a Mercury Retrograde video just to see what the energies is like during Mercury Retrograde, and what came up was that we need to work on our shadow, or to face our shadow. And today I got guidance from the angels or spirit that I need to clarify and do another reading to see if we can see what the shadows are so that we can work on them. Because maybe not everyone knows what their shadow is, or if there's more than one, what their shadows are. And that's why they're our shadows, because we may have suppressed them, or we have been in denial of them, or are not even aware. So this is sort of like a part 2 to that. And tonight I'm just going to do a reading on what shadows do we need to confront. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll do several decks. And this first deck I'm using is the Twin Flame Shadows deck. And I got it from Mystic Moon recently. And she's another YouTuber that's does readings online as well. So what shadows? Okay, it jumped out. What is this? Too many. Fixated. So the card that just came out before I could finish asking the question is fixated. So as a collective, one of our shadows that we are fixated on something. So now, usually my readings are about love. So if you're in a relationship and there's issue with the relationship, or the same patterns keep on coming up in the relationship, it may be because part of your shadow is you're being fixated. Now, if it's not relationship, you can apply this towards your goals, because that also came up in the reading yesterday, as far as, you know, going after your goals or what you want to do or your plans. So since this is a collective reading, a general reading for the collective, and I don't know your individual situation, just take it how it applies to your situation in your life, if it applies and if it resonates. Okay, so this could be holding you back from the perfect relationship that you want, or is causing you trouble in the current relationship, or just in past relationships in general, or the shadow is holding you back from what you want in life, achieving what you want. Okay, so fixated. So you're fixated on something, you're obsessed on something to the point where, you know, it's consuming you. Like, that's all your energy is going towards that. Look at her. She's like, her eyes, she's just obsessed. Okay, so let's see what else. What other shadows do we need to confront? Irresponsible is the second card that came out. So maybe we have responsibility for things, or we should be taking responsibilities for certain things, but in the past we have not. So irresponsible is another one of the shadows that we may need to confront or face, from the reading yesterday where it asked us to confront our shadow. And then the card that fell out underneath that is non-action. So maybe procrastination on something, or maybe we should be doing something, but we put it off and put it off, or we decided we're not going to do it, or we don't want to do it, or it's too complicated, or too much of a chore to do. So that's the other shadow, non-action. So we have 3 shadows that we can confront within ourselves: being fixated, obsessed with something, being irresponsible, not taking responsibility for things that we should, and then non-action. So that kind of go hand in hand. Oh, so that makes sense why they came out together. Non-action. So not doing what maybe we should be doing. Okay, and then now I'm going to pull healing cards to see what other shadows, maybe it can give us more clarity or additional insight. Spirit, what other shadows, what shadows as a collective do we need to work on or confront or face during this Mercury retrograde? What shadows do we need to work on? What shadows do we need to confront during this Mercury retrograde? What shadows do we need to work on during this Mercury retrograde? What shadows do we need to work on during this Mercury retrograde? What shadows do we need to work on? What shadows do we need to work on during this Mercury retrograde? Family and tribe. So family had came up in the past in past readings on relationships and love. And so, which makes sense because we grew up with our family, and of course, you know, growing up there may be childhood or trauma or issues since childhood. So family and tribe. So, and tribe, it doesn't have to be your immediate family. It could be just your group, your tribe, the people you hang out with, people you grew up with, people you deal with. So there's healing as a collective in regards to our family and tribe. And you can apply it to whichever situation that applies to you. But you might want to look at that. And what other shadows do we need to confront? Entrapment. So some of us may feel like we are trapped in a particular relationship, in a particular situation, or trapped into doing something out of obligation or out of family obligation. Whatever your situation is that is making you feel trapped. Okay, that's the other shadows we need to confront during this Mercury retrograde. And let's see what else comes out. Okay. Sadness. So your sadness, your pain, your grief. I also just heard the word depression. So a lot of us may be dealing with depression, or as a whole collective, we're dealing with sadness or depression or grief or pain. And that's why there's self-medication or depressive drugs commercials online, on TV, all over the place, perhaps. So sadness. So we have family and tribe, entrapment, and sadness. Okay. And these are the House of Oracles or something. Once again, I'll leave the links. I'll leave the links at the bottom of the description page if you're interested in any of these oracle cards. Spirit, what other shadows? There's too many. I'm going to reshuffle. If it's meant to be, it'll come back out. What shadows do we need to confront as a collective that's holding us back in life, in relationship, in achieving our goals or what we want? What shadows, Spirit, as a collective, do we need to confront during this Mercury retrograde? What shadows do we need to confront? All right. Addicted. Addicted. It could be a drug addiction, food addiction, working addiction, workaholic, alcohol addiction, addiction to a person. So let's see what else, Spirit, what other addictions, what other shadows? Perchant to dream. Perchance to dream. So I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to look that up just to clarify, because this deck, I have not used it much, but I want to see what it actually says. I need some light here. So I can see. Perchant to dream. If I sleep long enough, when I wake up, the pain will have been gone. A crowned naked man is reclining, his eyes closed and his body dissolving in the wind. Another man holds him gently behind them, a circle of brass risen by thin silvery threads. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Going dark, it's the time to surrender, to drown, to dive in headfirst in the cozy, all-enveloping darkness of the blanket. It is a moment of weakness. It's a desire to close your eyes and surrender just for one moment, 1 second, 1 minute. Not like a hero fighting the world, but like a kid just welcoming the darkness outside within fully. How long will that moment last? A minute? We can say just a minute, but it's not true. Disappearing is but an instant, just the time to take a breath twice, and yet it can take ages we will regret, ages that we will have lost, like stolen by our own surrendering, and yet we close our eyes. We let one sense after the other slow down to nothing. Sight first, then hearing and smell. Last will be the touch. The comforting hand we all deserve, to hold us up when we have done enough and we stop, and we just cannot let it go. Perchance to dream. So this is what I'm getting from this, is just giving up. Like when it's too much, instead of the saying, like when you fall off a horse, get back on. It's just so, something may have happened that was traumatic in our childhood, or that was so bad to the point where we're like on our hands and knees and we just want to close our eyes and give up and give in and surrender and not even want to continue. And then we just let go and we just give up hope. So this is like this, he's giving up hope is what I'm getting. So that's one of your shadows. Maybe you lost the spark or lost the inspiration. And you just don't want to deal with it anymore. Spirit, what other shadows? hiding your true self. So a lot of us, or some of us, wear masks. It's about being authenticity, speaking your truth, speaking from our heart, saying what we really mean and meaning what we really want to say, and not saying things that we feel that people want to hear or that we think we should say, dictated by society or family or whatever it is, the pleasing of others. Hiding our true self. Maybe we don't feel confident enough to hide our real self or to show our real self, so we feel we need to hide ourselves. But that's another one of our shadows that we need to face. So these are just some of the possible shadows that we need to face from the reading yesterday, where it asked us to confront our shadows. So I'm doing this reading because I got a message from Spirit that maybe not everyone knows what their shadows are. So these are just giving us ideas. Like I said, it's for the collective, so it may not all apply to you, or maybe some will apply to you and some may not. But doing shadow work, it's not easy. It's difficult because it's painful. It's things we may not want to admit or face. But if you really want to do the shadow work and heal, we need to look at it, pull it out into the light so we can clear it and grow, and then get that illuminated bright light and spread our wings. And if you haven't seen the video from yesterday, I just uploaded it yesterday, and it's titled Mercury Retrograde, Spread Your Wings. So I just pulled from the Tao, the Wisdom of the Tao Oracle deck, to see what wisdom it can give us in regards to these shadows. And it's saying, don't help others. Don't just go with the flow. So that goes back with the entrapment, feeling entrapped. Maybe I said earlier about feeling obligated to do certain things, or hiding yourself, or pleasing people, or whatever you feel you have to do or say that's not real. So it says, don't just go with the flow. Insert yourself into the situation to make it a positive impact. Despair, a part of any journey, is behind you. Believe and inspire others to believe. Your influence will change the outcome. So this is advice for how you can overcome some of those shadows, perhaps. So this is saying help others. And this is so perfect as far as timing. I feel so timely because we're in November, and in the United States, we're heading into Thanksgiving in a couple of days. And Thanksgiving is a time to be grateful. And a lot of people go and help at the food bank and help others. And this is saying to help others. Don't go with the flow. Don't just be, what is that word that I'm looking for? Don't be like the status quo. Don't be, I can't think of the word that I want to say. But anyway, be yourself. Don't be, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word that I want to say. So maybe it'll come to me. But basically, insert yourself into the situation to make a positive impact. And if you were despair or depressed, despair is a part of any journey, but it's behind you. So basically it's saying these are your shadows, and we may have feel rejected or hurt or trapped or sad, or all the things that led us to have these shadows. And the wisdom of the Tao is saying, go help others. Help others. Put that focus on others and make a positive impact. So maybe you can do volunteer work or help a friend in need or help whatever you feel inspired to do. But that is what the wisdom of the Tao is saying. And then last but not least, I'm going to pull messages from the angels to see what messages angels have for us. And what their message is for us. Aurora, you are flying high right now, which may threaten others, but don't descend, because others will soon become inspired by your example. So sometimes we do well and then we deal with jealousy, or we deal with enviousness, or we deal with different things that may pull us down. But the angel Aurora is saying that don't let that pull you down, because your story will inspire other people. All of these shadows that you went through, all the situation that caused you to have these shadows, once you confront the shadow and clear it, you'll be flying high. And this just came to me. The message of the video yesterday is to spread your wings. And this lady is also spreading her wings, or this angel, and you're flying high. So I think that's really is consistent. The message is really consistent. Let's see what other, I'm going to pull one more. What other messages do you have for us as far as working with our shadows and confronting our shadows? Vanessa, Angel Vanessa. To make your decision, ask yourself, which way brings me closer to my divine purpose? Which way takes me away from it? Which way brings me closer to my divine purpose? Which way takes me away from it? So this reminds me of the fork in the road. Yesterday I was saying about your goals, and maybe you have two set of goals, and one set of goals lead you to the road that goes left, and the other set of goals lead you to the path that goes right. And this is doing this Mercury Retrograde is the time to reflect and decide which set of goals has higher priority. So Angel Vanessa is telling us to giving us guidance to make that decision. Ask yourself which way brings you closer to your divine purpose, and which way takes you further away from it. So hopefully that will help you towards your goal. So that's a good note to wrap it up on. I'm a little tired tonight, so I'm sorry I'm not as clear, and I think it's inertia was the word that I was thinking of before. But I hope this helps. Prior to doing this reading, I pulled some cards for myself, and it was really clear, and it was helpful and insightful. So even though it didn't flow as like my readings normally do, I wanted to get it out so that you can, hopefully it can be helpful for you, for those who want to work on facing their shadows and not aware or conscious of what their shadow is, because some of these may be subconscious. So at first you may not admit to it or see it or realize it, but if you go deeper, then you may say, oh yeah, that is me, or that was me, and then it may come up. So just some things to think about, and I hope that give you some insight, and at least give you a starting point to where to start, and then you can go further from there, and then and then release all of this and then just fly high. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it to be of benefit and it helped some of you. And once again, happy Thanksgiving to those celebrating, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.